What if God was one of us? Okay, it can't have been just me to think of how much easier it would be if we could just see God. Walking down the street, right outside, cruising down to the nearest joint for a slice of pizza and maybe a few brewskis. I don't think that's too much to ask. For a chance to bask in the ethereal glory, to be on the receiving end of such favor, perhaps flavored by distinction and maybe a really nice tan. If God had a name, what would it be, and would you call it to his face? If you were face to face with all his glory, what would you do if you had just one question? And yeah, God is great, and yeah, God is good, and yeah, but what if God was one of us? I'll compromise for just a glimpse. I just want some proof, reassured all of this is not a spoof, spooked too much by the ghost of my own reflection, subjected to sideways glances of rejection, deduction etched in the canons of my existence, persistently resisting the call of sovereignty, consistently accosting the heaven with my leftover questions that seem a bit too hard to swallow and give me indigestion, suggesting to the authorities telltale signs of ecclesiological resignation, leaving me in a season looking for what appears reasonable, to foster my festering rationale and force-feed the parts of me partial to the practical, spending the remainder of my days waxing and waning in the decay of ages, an inheritance of my ancestry and nomadic tendencies. But what if God was one of us? At least I would know I was seen. Standing stagnant in the wake of shattered certainty, perfectly parceled prayer, postmarked return to sender, putting together the pieces of my puzzlement, pursuing a litany of elusive clues, and counting the seeds harvested from my own disappointments, receiving my ration of proverbial fortune cookies handcrafted by those, more concerned with marking regression and things measurable in graphs and timetables, leaving me with wax wings, the voiceless liaison of lost voices, dissipated in the stratosphere, launched high with the hopes that they'll get near enough for God to hear. So what if God was one of us? God was. God is, God always will be, no longer having to wait in the weight of glory anointed, goodness, grace, mercy poured over, pores soaked, washed in the words of the greatest love story. Imagine a vastness of a love to become human, bundled in insipid lipids, hewn in sinew, bracketed in bones, the author and perfecter of life, seamstress of eternity, bound into fleshy members and walking alongside with humanity, encountering us daily. Streams of living water, whose sonnets are sweeter to sip than milk and honey, their fingerprints lingering on my lips, a petition of remembrance. For when the world I seek to control crumbles around me, and the sand-castle towers of my achievements fall away, and the plates of the earth bend and quake, and I am caught in a cacophony of wounded hopes and broken prayers, I know I'm safe, kept in the cleft of the cliff, fortified on all sides by the side pierced, and by the hold hands that hold me close and make me whole, the mighty one of Jacob, rock of Israel, who saw me before my seeing could even be, my only foundation, my help, my hope, the solid rock upon which I stand. For all other ground is sinking sand, all other ground is sinking sand.